Well, howdy YouTube. Welcome back. This is Paul, Attempted Auto, back with the green disease, as you can see on my side here. In the last video, we welded the floors in, and I ended the video there because I have a feeling when I edit it down, it's going to be quite long. I don't know how long it's going to be yet because this is literally the next day. I haven't even started editing that video yet. Well, I guess I started it. Next step, I guess, is to seal the floor, paint the floor, put the dash back together, and see if we can figure something out with the wiring. So let me bring you around here a little bit. I did rust treat all of this. Oh, somebody noisy going by. I used the Duplicolor rust reform stuff. It's still kind of brown. It didn't do as good of a job as some of the other stuff. No big deal, I guess. I mean, it's changed some of it black. I'm going to seal this pretty good anyways. But as a first step, we're going to take some spray primer, just cheapo spray paint. And I'm going to go around all of my weld seams. And I want this rather than the brush-on stuff because it'll be thinner. It'll get down into any imperfections in my probably pretty porous welds. And once that is all down on all of that, I can put some seam sealer on them, on all these seams, and then I can brush paint this whole thing, most likely in Rust-Oleum. So this is going to be nothing really special. We're just getting a coat into these seams so that any voids in my weld or just porous spots or whatever, it's going to have some primer in them. That's all I'm after with this coat. Alright, and I guess that's step one. I'll go find my seam sealer. Once this flashes up, sets up a little bit, I'll start filling in all the seams, I guess. I'll be right back. Seam sealer is all down everywhere. I just put it down. I gotta let this tack up a bit. Then we're gonna start painting. I'm kind of disappointed that there's still brown rust in that stuff that's been treated with 3 coats of rust reform, and it's still brown. So I don't know. I'm gonna let this seam sealer set up a bit. I might spray that one more time, or I might just go ahead and put some chassis shield or something down on the front of this, on the firewall. But I gotta let this tack up a bit. It's still, I just put it down. So we give this about an hour, come back in, and I'll figure out what I'm gonna do and start painting, I guess. I want to get at least, at least to where the seat's gonna go, so I can start putting the dash together. I'm sure I'll get it all done, but I gotta get at least to here. Problem is, rain clouds are coming in, of course, because that's what it does around here. It rains. So we'll see how much I can get done before I get rained out. I'm going to work on some of these pieces that need attention. This is the brake assembly. I also have to deal with the steering column. I've changed some electrical parts in that, the ignition switch, the blinker switch. I'm also going to paint it since it's out. I got to put a heater core in the heater box. So I'm going to do all that stuff. That way I can just reassemble the dash. This thing, if you look at this pin here, you know what, let me put some gloves on real quick. The whole time we were in Tennessee, we were spraying this with PB Blaster, hoping that we could free it up. We never did free it up, but we did make it awful disgusting to touch. So, let me throw these gloves on real quick. Okay, so if you watch this pin right here, when I move the pedal, that shouldn't turn. Only the pedal should move. So that means that the pin is seized to the pedal. So I'm hoping I can drive that out. Now, there's some nylon, I guess, bushings in here that it rides on. Hopefully we can save them. If we can't save them, they are available, but I haven't bought any yet. So hopefully this comes out clean and I can just clean it up, get the rust off of it, grease it, put it back together. If they break, I can deal with it. Actually, the pin itself is available too. The other thing is the brake switch itself. I'm going to be getting rid of that. I'm going to be putting a 4-pin one on. It'll have a normally open and a normally closed set of contacts. That way when I swap this thing, I can have cruise control also. So that'll be coming off, and I'm going to pretty this thing all up. But first, let's make it functional, then we'll worry about making it pretty. Let me get a screwdriver to get that off. Now these clips, if they're like the older or the newer style brake ones, they got a catch here, so I got to lift this outside piece up and then push the whole clip down. Hopefully. Hopefully. Like that. Alright, so that's off. Here's one of those nylon bushings that's not in good shape. Well, let's see what happens. I guess I'll set that on a big socket and just see if I can tap it down through. Alright, so we'll try the baby hammer first. It might be bouncing a little bit. Yeah, it's moving slowly. I should level this better if I can. Maybe I can't. I also don't think these bushings are going to be okay when I'm done. Hold up. Where? Yeah, as you can see, the bushing is kind of annihilated. Like I said, they're available. I'll just have to order some new ones. They're not even that much, couple bucks. Something else to wait on though, that's all. So let me get this the rest of the way apart, get it all cleaned up. Alright, so bushings are all out. It's actually not that grubby in there. It's a little bit. I mean, we're going to clean it all, but it's not too bad. I'm going to run up before I forget, and I'm going to order the new stuff so it's on its way. We'll get this pin out. This one looks a little more promising. And I guess then we'll just clean everything up and get some fresh black paint on it. Wait on our bushings. While we're waiting on them, we'll start on the steering column. Find out what I can break in that I have to order, and then we can wait on parts for that. I've got most of the rust off. Oop, let me turn you where you can see. So I got most of the rust off. Wiped it down. I'm going to clean it now. I'm just going to use brake cleaner. Blow the, get the oil and stuff off of it. And then I'm going to use this rust reformer hopefully to stop the rust, and then we'll just spray it black. I did order those bushings, the nylon bushings. Should be in Monday. That's 2 days from now. If that's the case, we'll get this all reassembled during the week and hopefully get that car back together, or the dash at least. So let me give these a quick cleaning, and then we'll start painting them. That rust reformer, when you spray that, it's pretty hard on the lungs. Probably want to do that in a pretty well ventilated area. We're going to drag them outside for that. So I think in order to get the bushings all in there tight, I'm going to actually have to take the paint off where the bushing goes, because what we end up with, take these out, we're going to end up with a bushing in here, and then the other bushing goes into the brake pedal where they rub, like I don't know if you can see that or not, like that. So with that extra thick, I think it's going to be a problem. So I'm going to sand them off a little bit, and then hopefully this thing will all go together. Alright, let's see if that helps me. I guess the other thing I could do is maybe file a little bit on the edges of these, but we'll see how it goes together. Alright, so one in each of them, one in each of these. And the pedal goes this way. Try to not booger up a bushing doing this. Okay, pin is in. That's considerably better brake pedal movement than before. Oh, so that's good. Now we've got this pin, which goes in the bottom, far bottom one. Hopefully this pin goes in. I didn't think about that. There's also this clip, which goes back, I think on that side, and then a spring grabs this. That's my return spring. So that goes through there. In order to get that pedal in, I had to take a couple feeler gauges, one on each side, and then it went right back in. So let's see what we got here. Is this on the inside or the outside? How much play is there on the inside? Alright, let's flip that up. Hopefully this will all work. Maybe I should have put this in first. I just didn't want to flop it around. Alright, that should be good. Let's see if that will do what it needs to do. Right there. Something like that. So get this on. Get it on. Right now. Hold it. Hold it. Keep it. There we go. Don't forget it. Spray. Actually, before I put the spring on, I have a little rubber bump stop here. Like that. Now I'll put the spring on. Like that. There. I have a working brake pedal. Alright, I guess the next assembly we'll attack is the heater controls. Like I showed a minute ago, I do have a repair kit for the buttons. If you look, my middle one is broken off. I have new cables that I will make sure are the same lengths they appear to be. So I'm going to get this apart. We're going to take this switch apart, clean the contacts inside of it. Hopefully it'll work okay. And then it's got another switch below for the AC. Down here, I'll just test the contacts, make sure that's okay. We'll rip this apart. If I find anything interesting to show you, I will. Otherwise, I'm going to just shut this off and just blow through this and bring you back. Alright, so the switch itself, I've bent these tabs up. I can feel there's a spring pushing back on me. So let's see what this looks like. It's pretty dirty. We'll get this cleaned up. So you got just a contact with a spring behind it. When that switch moves, it just moves that contact from side to side. So we'll get this all cleaned up, get some dielectric grease in there, and put it back together, and it should work just fine. The actual pins are pretty dirty on the back side too. I'm just going to clean this all up, and it'll be good as new, hopefully. One more assembly finished up. This works nicely now. These all move real free, real easy. The only issue I had, I broke one of the mounting tabs, so I epoxied this corner in. The other thing is that the two clips that hold this on, there's actually nothing left. So where these clips grab. So this is stuck with two-sided tape on here. So you can tell if you look, but it's not too terrible, I don't think. So it'll work. It'll turn the heat on and off. So one more thing done. Last thing I'm doing today is the heater core. Got a floor all painted. See, it's dried. If you're wondering why that's black and this is primer brown, that is rust encapsulating paint. Remember, I had, I don't know, some didn't turn black, it was kind of brown. So I figured if I couldn't beat it, I would just seal it tightly. So yeah, so the front is rust encapsulating. I started priming this, and I was going to paint this, but I am not putting the bench seat back in here because it was garbage and I couldn't find a replacement. So I junkyarded a couple buckets. I'm going to have to probably build a bracket by the tunnel. So before I get all kinds of paint on here that I got to take care of, I figure I'll do that and then paint everything in. If I have to weld or do any kind of fabrication, All I got to get rid of at this point is primer and sealer. But I've got enough done that I can put the dash back together. So I got to try to round up all of my pieces and parts and see if I can remember what kind of order they came apart in so that I can put them back together. Okay, I'm trying to remember how this went back together. I have the air box in, but I'm not really sure that I put it in the right order. I do know that this vent and that had to go in before the dash pad went on. I think the dash pad is the next step, then the speaker, and then the rest of the ductwork. And then I can get the cables in to the speaker, or to the heater box for the controls, and then feed the wiring harness through, and then the cluster and the steering wheel and the brakes and all that stuff. So get that dash pad on, and I guess the speaker after that, and we'll see if I can get this thing put together. Alright, let's see if I got the right part. I thought the other one had like slides. Maybe it's the right part. Maybe it's the right part. Looks like I gotta run over to the other side. Why does it seem short? I guess that's how it goes. All right. I guess we'll just screw her down. You see, reassembly of these things is just so much fun. So the heater box was in, but then I remembered that these kick panels had to go in first. So now the heater box is out, and the kick panels are in, both sides. That one doesn't need to yet, but might as well. They had to get seam sealer around them. See this puddle on the floor? I threw some water in the cowl to see what would happen, and it was running from these, which is how I knew that they needed seam sealer. So now these are in. Then I remembered that this vent right here needed to go in first also. So I put it in, and the rotten hole on the firewall was actually the bracket that held it. So if you can see, I made a bracket to hold that vent piece in place, and now I believe I can reinstall the heater box. So an hour and 15 minutes, and I'm less than where I was to start with. Yeah. All right, so the heater box is going to go in next. That should be fine. I can then run the cables and let them hang. No, I can't yet, because there's one more vent that goes back through here that's a real pain to fish in, and it has to go next. And so I guess we'll just keep picking away. Heater box, other vent piece, heater control, probably wiring harness, then brakes, then steering column. Then I'll remember that I forgot to put insulation in the firewall. I forgot to put insulation in the firewall. I'm gonna do insulation in the firewall, then the heater box, then the duct, then the wiring harness, then the brake. That you get the idea. Let's get some insulation on that firewall first. I don't know if you can see it or not, but the heater box is back in. I have insulation around this box. I do have some here. I probably should have gone up a little higher, but I can meet up with it with another piece. So that's back to normal. I guess we'll start by getting all those cables on for the heat control. But it is, I don't know, 7:30 or so. I'm gonna run out of filming light pretty soon, and since this is just Friday after work and I have all weekend, I'm gonna just end it here, go play with my dogs or something. I don't know, but yeah, we'll hit it first thing in the morning. My goal, the dash done tomorrow. That's my goal. So we'll see how I do. I'll see you in the morning. I think this is where this goes. I mean, I know it's roughly where it goes. It has a little bracket that broke off. It appears, though, that I'm missing something right here, because this goes up to all the defrost, or not defrost. Okay, I am definitely missing a bracket here, though, because these, this piece of ductwork here will cover all of these vents in the dash. And it has to go to this somehow, but I don't have that piece. I don't know what that piece looks like. So for now, I guess it's not going to be blowing on my face. It's either going to be defrost or on my feet. And I'm okay with that for now, I guess. I'm going to just zip tie this thing up so that it's not rattling, and so that it's here when I do come up with that piece or make something or whatever I've got to do. So that'll get zip tied on. Then I guess we're gonna throw the harness in it, maybe, or the brake. I'm not sure which one goes first, but it's either gonna get the brake or the harness. I'll have to look at the brake. I don't know. I'll figure it out. I'll pull them both out and I'll figure it out. Alright. Right in the middle of the bag, you know? They're supposedly made from the same, same blueprints. So we have the pigtail going to the dimmer switch, which is broken on mine, right here. Is that column? That's right. 4-prong. That's correct. That's correct. It'll be this guy right here. Nope, that's not that guy. That is this guy right here. And it's correct. Who are you? You are headlight switch. You are correct. Further down the harness, we have clear block, square block. That one, purple to purple. What did we not eliminate yet? It's got yellow. Alright, it's just broken. Grounds are ripped out of that one. That's good. So this whole block is good. Moving down further. Purple. That. Got a light bulb. That's missing a wire. Missing a gray wire. No. There it is, it just pulled out. through the firewall, which I don't know if I even saved that. Just broken wire. Orange, blue, yellow. Alright, so we have a good match. So that's going to do the, that's perfect. That's exactly what this one is. Okay, so this one is perfect. It is exactly what that one is. Even with a couple extra wires that I guess were probably broken on this one. So I think I should probably use this one maybe as my template when I drill the hole for the new bolt, and then I'll bolt that on. I think that probably makes the most sense. So let me fight underneath the dash, get a hole drilled, get this thing mounted, and then we'll start feeding wires places. And now I think I have everything the way it needs to be fitted to put the dash in. Here's the dash. I was able to buy a printed circuit board, which is nice. I didn't have to try to make anything back here. So that's new. All my bulbs are new. Flip this over. You can see there's still a bit of rust. I do have this working again. Well, maybe. So I did replace the spring, clean this up. I have that working. And I have a new gas gauge in it because that one tested horrible. The clock is not going to work, but I left it in there. Like I said, you can see the rust in there. I've cleaned it up. I don't know. I was going to order a new cluster, but this kind of tells the story of the car, so I can read it. I'm probably going to leave it. So let me, oh, also the, oops, the headlight switch. Headlight switch is also a new piece. This I cleaned up. It seemed to work okay. So I'm going to fit the heater controls back into the cluster, and then I'm going to try to work the whole thing in, work my wiring harness in, the speedometer cable, and then I'll see how it ends up fitting. Bring it right back. Alright, well I guess what I was fighting is, without the steering column in, the bottom of the dash is actually sagged a little bit. So these are just finger tight, these screws up here. This one I couldn't get to at all. I don't know if the sun is keeping you from seeing that. So brake pedals in, that helped pull it up a little bit. I guess I got to throw the steering column in next. Then I can suck the dash back up where it belongs, and then I should be able to tighten these up. I'm not sure why it says I'm doing 75 miles an hour. The cable's in, it's hooked up. I'm hoping that once I start the thing and that cable starts rolling around, that'll drop back. If not, I guess I'll have to do something with this cluster. There's a retaining clip that goes on the back of the cluster that holds that cable, and it's missing. Everything seems to be where it belongs, but I know that there's a retainer that's missing. So if I find it, I'll fight with this again. If I don't find it, I'm just gonna wait and see if that corrects itself. Everything is pretty tight in there, so I can't imagine that it would actually move, but I'll find out. Steering column is next. It's all rebuilt as well. I didn't put the, well, you'll see. I still have to rebuild the, not rebuild, I still have to put the horn button, or the horn mechanism, and the retaining clip and all that in it. But I can throw the main shaft in here, and that'll at least get me centered and everything. I can suck the dash back up, and then I can build the rest and put the steering wheel on. But so far it's coming along all right. I haven't yet painted the glove compartment or the ashtray, so they're still the original green. I'll get to them. I do have another glove box insert, a new one, since the other one was growing things, so that will go on as well. But it's coming along. This no, I'm sorry, this plug right here, my harness doesn't have. I'm not sure if that goes to the heater. A non-AC car, if this plugs into that, I don't know. But if I don't need it, then I'll just let it hang. All right, let me get the steering column and we'll get that stabbed in. If you look straight through the hole in the firewall, you can see the steering box, and you can see the gear that the steering column has to go on. On the top of it, there's a flat spot, and I believe that's supposed to be horizontal in order to have a straight steering wheel. So we're going to put it on. We're going to have to compensate a little bit when we put the steering wheel on, but it should be close enough that I can get it on there. So I've removed these large bolts that hold that inside piece, and I've removed the bolt that goes over that coupling on the rag joint. So now I'm just going to try to stab that thing in here and see how it goes. I probably have the camera right in the way. Let me think here. So that's going to go like this. Oh, you know what else is going to be right in the way? Is that brake switch that I put on. See if I can get this off without breaking anything. Probably not. Ah, shoot. Alright, well then I'll just turn it up for now. Just gonna get around the camera without knocking it. Best not to snag anything. Alright, I guess I gotta step outside and see what I can see. Can I get one of these on here maybe? No, not yet. Well, let's see how close I am. Alright, I think just slightly off. Back up just a little bit. Turn that column. Try again. Kind of looking like it might be a two-person job, huh? I don't know if that's a good idea. Oh. Alright, oh, let's see if I got it. I'm in the process of repinning the steering column. This, which came with the my new blinker actuator, doesn't fit anything. And I started to file like this. This ramps up. I don't know if you can see it. It's flat on one side, and it has a catch on the other side on the factory one. So I've pulled the factory one off, and now I'm just working these pins out. So the way I do it, there's a little, I have no idea if you can see in there, there's a little catch on these pins on one side of this clip. So if you push that in, you can pop the pin out like so. With the factory pins, they seem to hold up okay. With these, I got to work the pin back up a little bit, and then I can push them in like so. So I'm doing them one at a time, that way I don't get them mixed up in the wrong order. So I am nearly done, and then I should be able to finish wiring. Right. 2 more. All right, and just like that, I should have one that works. There we go. All right. Make sure they all seated all right, and they did. So then I will just snap that back where it belongs. I said I will just snap that back where it belongs. Oh, excuse me, and move on to more. Rain settled down a little bit, so I guess we'll get back to work. Back of the car leaks quite a bit. So does the door seals. I have new ones there. They put quite a puddle in. The front, that little puddle right there is because the fuse block still isn't tight. That's where it came through. The other side didn't leak at all, so the front's cured. Let's see if we can get the steering wheel. Oops, you're very crooked. Let's see if we can get this all installed, if I can remember how. Oops. So I think the blinker arm is the next thing in. All right, there's that. Now, next thing. Got the bag out. I'm trying to go from memory here. It's been a little while. So if I have all the pieces out, if I can remember. Alright, so we got the retaining ring. Alright, so the spring. Let's see here. So I think that rides on that. Is there a right way and a wrong way? Does this have teeth? It does not have teeth. That one does though. But that has to touch that, so this definitely is the next piece in. Oh, you know what I do need to do? Okay, so the horn has to be over here to be straight up and down. Maybe. Oh, if you even fit. Alright, you fit. So that has to be like that. Now the steering wheel needs to go just a bump that way. So that's straight. got that straight. Somewhere out there. Somewhere around there. Right. Okay, that's on. Next piece is this. This does have teeth, so this is kind of directional. Oops. Oh, spring. Then this. This has to push down. Am I wrong? Am I wrong? Maybe I'm wrong already. I guess it'd been a while since I've took this apart. So it was the spring first, then the horn, whatever you would call that, horn actuator, then this plate, and now you can see the groove that ring will ride in. So let me see if I can set you down without you falling. Oh, won't get you too dizzy. Are you looking where you need to? Sure you are. Alright, now let me push that clip down where it needs to go. Now it's going to be more of a fight because it's correct. Get that up over this first groove. Push down. I bought a new clip for this and then I lost it. I actually bought 2 of these. Luckily I was able to find the original one, but it's a little bit sprung, which is not helping me. There we go. There. Alright, that is seated how it belongs now. So I can take the tool off. Look at that. Okay, next piece. Actually, maybe I should set that in next. So that makes contact with the horn. Send that through there. Tighten this up. All right, steering wheel. And the nut. I'm gonna have to get a socket for this. But there you go. She can steer again. How about that? All right, let me tighten this up, jam the horn button on, and yeah, look at that, success. Good deal. It's in, it's together, and it's 6 p.m. Time to feed my dogs. Well, I wanted to have this done today. Actually, I was hoping to have this done and to have brackets started for the floor, or for the seats. That didn't happen, but this is in. Just a couple things to plug in there. I think I'm gonna buy all new fuses, so deal with that another day. But I reached my goal today. That's good. Tomorrow we're gonna get seats mounted into this thing, and I was gonna do the floor. I have carpet, I have sound deadening, but with the amount of water this took in, I'm thinking I better attack the back hatch first. So I'll get these brackets made, I'll get the seats in. Man, I can probably paint this after that, paint it black, because that won't affect anything. But then I guess we're gonna jump to the rear seal, the rear window, the back sail piece before we do any carpet. Now I still don't want to do that. Tomorrow I'm going to get the seats in, and I'm going to start to unscramble the wiring at the engine. Let's make this thing run. Then I can turn it around, back it up to my welder, and that'll make it easier to do that. So, in spite of it being a rather rainy afternoon, we still did meet our goal for the day, which is good. Tomorrow, I guess we're going to get seats in it. We're going to hear this thing go brum again. Hopefully this time with its key, though, instead of me twisting wires together and touching wires to the starter. If I can get all that done tomorrow, I can turn this thing around and we can start working on the crap out back. So tomorrow, seats and a running engine. I'll see you then. Next morning already. Good morning. Of course, you're probably not watching this in the morning, so that probably makes no sense. I have the seats out though. These were out of maybe '09. I don't remember what year. Anyways, it was a Sebring convertible, Dodge, Chrysler, I don't know what they are. And I got them because they have integrated seat belts, and they were one of the only pairs of bucket seats from a two-door, so they reclined. The driver's seat is a power seat. I'm gonna have to find a battery, test this before I put it in. Passenger seat is jammed up. This bracket here is bent or something, so we're gonna have to put some fluid on this, PB blast or something, and see if I can bend this back straight so it operates properly. If you look at these mounts are all wrong. It sat on a ridge up front, and this one is flat on the back. These are against the side. So I'm gonna end up having to build something for brackets for both of these seats. So I guess what I'll do is just carry it over and drop it in the car and see what I need to do to make it fit. Oof. I unhooked it. Oh, got me. Got me. That was awkward. Come on, let go. Guess we'll carry it the other way. Alright, here we go. Lifted it by the handle again. Oh, I hate that. Must have to lock that down. Alright. So it has way too much forward lean. That way a little bit. But, well, that's not bad, that side. Here, come here. So, this side, the height-wise, isn't bad. I don't know if you can see it or not. Stupid GoPro shuts off the display. But this actually, where it's touching, that's okay. The seat actually doesn't look like it's leaning in or out, like it seems level with the car. But to me, it's tipped too far back. Maybe not. Maybe I'll sit in it and see. But this outside, I think I could just put like a piece of angle iron, anchor the angle iron to the floor, and I think it'll be okay. I mean, I got to get rid of these. I got to get rid of this stuff up here, but that's no big deal. I don't think they're going to be that terribly hard to all that terribly difficult to mount. Let me play with it for a little bit and then I'll bring it back. I think I'm up to plan maybe F or D or L, I'm not sure. What I've done is I've put a piece of angle iron in the factory bench seat holes. This one facing this way, this one facing sideways. I'm going to drop this seat down so they land into these right here. I still have to clean them up so that I can weld. Once this side is down and square and level and everywhere I want it, I'm just going to put a couple dots of weld into it so I can take this back apart, and then I'm just going to build whatever kind of risers I need over on that side to make it all work. I'll just weld them right into the body, because when I throw a bench seat on this eventually, if I find a good one, these won't matter, they'll be hidden. Won't be a big deal at all, and then I'll still have my factory holes on the outside. So that's the plan right now. I got to take the grinder, clean all the welds off. I got to clean all of the paint off up here where my welds are going to go. Like I said, flip it down, tack it till it's not going to go anywhere. Well, it kind of worked. Here, let me show you. Here's the front one. Buzz that in. I'll pretty it up, but it's holding now. It's solid. Here's the back. Same thing. Just, I don't know, inch or so of weld, but it'll hold it for now. So now we got this to deal with. This is, with this little piece of angle jammed in here, this is about the height that I need. I'm almost into the tunnel. So I'm going to take some cardboard, I'm going to make a template, and then I'm going to build some little box here that'll hold this weight up. I'm probably going to end up having to drill straight through here and bolt it in that way, but that should be alright. And then the back, if you can see it, it's elevated a little bit. Same sort of deal, I'll just build a little platform. I'll probably weld the bolt into that one, and yeah, should all work. So let me get working on this, get some cardboard out, build what I got to build there, and that'll be the next hardest one. Once that one's done, that one back there should be a breeze. I ended up coming up with something that looks like this. It's pretty good, close. Whoops, knocking the camera. Straighten you up a little bit. Whoops, maybe I can straighten you up a little bit. Right, that should end up sitting just about like that. Well, got myself a little canted. There it goes. There it goes. So I'm going to drill a hole through here, put a bolt in it. I'm going to weld the nut to the back side of it so it is where it needs to be. Then I'm going to clean all of this up, some weld through primer on, and then I'll put a tack in it, and then I'll take the seat off and finish it all up. That is now to my liking. I cleaned the primer all up, put some weld through down. I don't know if I needed to. I probably could have buzzed that onto bare metal because it is open in the back, but I put it down anyways. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a couple spots of weld on this thing just so it's held firmly, and then I could just simply push this seat forward and that'll give me access to this back one, and I can make that one right. So let me buzz this front one in here a little bit, just a couple spots. Once this is done and the back one is tacked down, this whole seat can come out. I can pretty these up a little better and weld these in solid, and then the passenger seat will be done. I saved the template for that because it should be the same both sides, so the driver's seat ought to go in pretty quick. So let's get this tacked in and move on to that side. And something like that is my results. Pay no attention to the fact that those look further back than these. I'm not sure how that happens when I started with the factory bench seat bolts on both sides, but that's ahead a little bit. Maybe that track was back. It won't matter, it's good enough. Like I said, ultimately my plan is to put the bench seat back in it. So I will clean these welds up a little bit. They're plenty solid, they're just a little ugly. And get some paint on them. Now, I do have some family obligations today, so I think this is as far as I'm going to get for now. I was hoping to have the floor painted black by the end of today, and I might still be able to, but it'll depend on what time I get home. I got to pack my tools up, I got to go pick up my daughter and spend the day with her. So that's more important. I'll see you tomorrow morning. I can't even say good morning anymore because it's a little afternoon. Just getting to the car now. You know, one of them mornings. I did get the floor painted though, and then it rained, but it looks all right. A little bit of puddling in the back. I really got to get to that hatch, but I got to make it run first. So today we're gonna get the hood off. We're gonna sort through all the junk wires in under the hood. I'm gonna throw some fuses and stuff in the new panel, hook the two together, and see what works and what doesn't work. First step though, let's get the hood off of this thing. Okay, how we left it. Put that on here so I wouldn't lose it. Oh, I forgot about that. I have two broken bolts for the windshield wiper motor. I'm gonna try to get them out of there. Let's get this out of the way. This was rotted and we ended up cutting it trying to make it work. It's never going to work for this. This is the wrong size radiator, so I'm going to have to just make brackets to get me by. I will eventually replace that with the correct sized one, but I've actually been running into that a lot. Seems like the last three, I don't know, eBay or Amazon cheapo aluminums that I've bought have been wrong. I'll maybe pick up the correct one for this, or maybe spend a few bucks on a better brand of aluminum. The distributor, I need to move a tooth because it is right into the firewall. I'd like that squared more, so I'll have to lift that, move it a tooth. Here's the jumble of wires just laying all over the place. If I remember right, I do not have a fusible link anywhere in this system. I have to add one on the alternator and one down on the starter. Let me come around to the other side. I got this out of the way, and it's starting to slowly come back to me. So this wire here I had run temporarily to the HEI, and that was up into the dash. I did have a hot wire running in there, but I can't find it. Maybe I already pulled it. But this Y here, this is where I was getting my power for the HEI. So this is the main feed, I guess, for the car. So one of these goes to the alternator back here. The other one goes down to the starter, which is on the piggybacked on the same lug as the battery. The other wire coming up right here from the starter, this would that would actually turn the starter. That's this right here. So I was touching this to here, but that can go back to the purple wire right here. So these I should be able to hook back together. They just wrap them around each other for now. All right, so there's a green wire. Oops, what do I got? Okay, that's my temperature sensor. It's a green wire laying here. It goes back to all that stuff on the air conditioning. So this right here is the resistance wire that would have gone to the coil. Now what I'm going to do is chase this back into the fuse block over here, and I'm going to replace it with maybe a piece of number 12 and run it to the HEI, and that should power that. Let me chase that down and see if I can get that apart. If not, I'll have to run a separate source. Alright, so I was able to remove the resistance wire from the block. I don't know if you can see the block or not. Let me lower this down so it's useful. So it pulled right out. It actually pulled out really easy. I cleaned all the crud out, came right out. Went up to one of my other harnesses to grab a new one, and I couldn't get one out. I broke 3 of them. I finally ended up breaking the other block just so I could get a wire. But this was the main feed in on that harness. Now it's going to go to the HEI, and this one I just pushed it up through. I'm going to clean these all up with some electronic cleaner, and I'll put some dielectric grease in here. I'm going to epoxy the back of this so that it's sealed up again, and then I'm going to put it together and finish sorting this out. Now when we were putting this together down in Tennessee, we apparently trapped the wires behind the brake booster. So I gotta bleed them anyways because I have a leaky line. I'll just take this apart, fish them through, and then put it back together. But yeah, I'll reroute this so it's all pretty, but first I gotta get that all put together. Let me hurry up and get that done and see where we end up. I was able to pull the wiring harness out around the brake, and I have the block back together. So I have this mess of wire now. I'm going to attempt to pretty this up a little bit. I'll show you my method. So I've separated the different individual chunks, different individual circuits. So you have the lighting harness that goes up front. That one I haven't touched. That's still, for now, intact. It looks intact. We'll mess with it later. This one goes to the washer, or the wipers and washer. So I'll just tuck that out. Right now I only have 1 bolt in this. Those 2 I drilled out. I'll have to come up with some hardware. Alright, so that leaves me with this cluster right here. So there's a junction box on the back side of the horn relay. It has 2. It has the main feed, and then it has a smaller wire, which I think this is your exciter wire for the alternator. Currently I have a 1 wire on it, so for now I don't need that, but I am going to leave that in place. Ooh. Maybe I won't leave that in place. Well, I can do some of that later. But I think these are going to come up and run across. I think these run across these clips. So let's see what I can do with them. Will that reach? No, it can't come across up high. It must go down lower. Alright, here's a wiring clip here. So maybe these go under? Nope, they can't go under. There's brake parts there. Well, they must come up like this. they must come up and then drop down into that. So I'm going to call this the first point right here. Now in this harness, or sub harness, I also have the new wire to the HEI. And I suppose I should put it in there also. This one is not going to be trained correctly because it came out of a different harness. Alright, let's try that. One more. I'm going to drop these two together. Where that clip should go. That's probably my rotted off spot back there. Alright, so these two are going to get dropped together. One's going to the HEI and one is going to oil pressure. And I'm going to be putting gauges on this, but I'm going to put a T back there and I'm going to run both the idiot light and a gauge. Alright, so down and down with you two. And back over there. Them. Alright. So something like tangled things. That behind the throttle cable also. I can do that in a second. So that gets me to over there. There used to be a wire clip here. It's pretty rotted though. Now, over here, we have our purple wire, which is going to hook to this wire. That one goes down. This I'm going to leave intact. I'm just going to tape it up. But I could pretty them up over there. Perhaps. I wonder if I can just run that high across everything. If that would be a problem. Bet that would work. Since it's in a wire loom. Sure, why not? Alright, let me jump over. Trade sides with you. Okay. Which leaves me with that one, which will follow these up to here. Those two drop that way. They should have to. I mean, it's easy to figure out what goes to what, but it's confusing to figure out how they get there. These three can run together. These can all run together here. Right up through here. I got a bad wire that I gotta fix. Make a repair on that guy. Probably the greatest connector ever, right there. Alright. Blew out a little bit. Alright, so, as I was saying, these four can go together. I'm going to leave them down in there. Even though I'm using a one-wire alternator, I'm going to leave that plug down in there. So I don't really care for a one-wire alternator. So when I change it out, I'm going to put a conventional 3-wire in it. And so I'm actually just swapping out fuses from the old panel to the new one, but I am testing them for continuity first. So pull them out. This cheapo Chinese tester doesn't beep, but if I show continuity, and I am, then I know it's a good fuse. I'll just stick it in. Oh, I missed. Oh. Yeah. Uh-oh. Fire off the glass. There we go. Yeah. The fuse is so bad. I can have some fuses, but same for spares, waiting for spares. These work. I mean, it's all right. Oh, great. There you go. That's good. It'll start today. That's what you like. It'll start today. I'm already under it. Clean exhaust on it. And figure out some better linkage for shift, okay? I'll turn it around so I can start running back. Alright, last fuse. Oh, 20 amp. I need a 20. You are 7.5. You are 10. Do you think these would be easier to tell? $20 amp. There's my 20. Probably too. All right. So if all the fuses are in and the fuse block is hooked up, I believe everything on the outside is hooked up that needs to be. I'm gonna throw the battery in this thing, grab a key, see what lights up, see what works. Wow, be right back. Thought about that. I'm not gonna have headlights if I don't have my dimmer switch hooked up. So let me just snap that on temporarily. Maybe. Well, you're totally different. Huh, that's no good. Huh, I wonder if I have a different one. Well, I guess we can test for voltage there. Turn the headlights on. I should have voltage on the blue one, I believe. that'll be a good place to test. There we go. All right, so I do have voltage to it. Oh, I see a light down here. I got a dash lit up. Let's go see if I have parking lights. Nothing back here. And nothing up here. Well, we're not off to a good start. But I could have some ground issues or something. Let's stick a key in it. That didn't light anything up. Huh. So we got nothing. Well, that's not good. I wonder if it's because of that. Guess we gotta do some testing. Time to do some testing. Well, that's a shame. So I'm gonna guess that my problem is the neutral safety switch that I didn't bother fixing is causing the problem. So I'm gonna jumper it out for now. If I can do this without. There we go. So now let's see if it'll do anything. It is in park, I verified. There we go. All right. So that neutral safety switch that I was sure was okay seems to be the problem. All right, I have the HEI unhooked. Make sure. So let's go hook that up, see if this thing will start. Should have everything it needs, at least to make some noise. Might need some fuel. Let's see if I can get some fuel up into it. All right, got fuel now. Come on, girl. What am I missing? What am I missing? I'd have to just pour some right down the yap. I've got no accelerator pump. Oh yeah, I do. I see some squirtage. Alright, so it's got fuel. I tested this, I have voltage to it. Should go. Oh, you know what? I wonder if when I turn the key I lose the voltage to the HE. There it goes. I guess that answers that question. Alright. Give her a little more gas. Try her again. She might need a gas pedal hooked up. Might be a two-person job. If I can work the throttle down here. It's still unhooked. The cable's in here. Let's see what happens. Oh. Sounds an awful lot like a knock to me. Now I know this engine sounded better than that in Tennessee. I don't remember any engine noises at all. That sure sounds like it's pounding. Man. I got some real thinking to do. I've got this week, basically, to get this thing power tour ready. And it needs an engine. I still got all the other stuff. I got to put an exhaust under it still, mess with the brake lines, do something for better cooling system. Man, I got some thinking to do, and I got to do it quick. Business casual Nova. You can see her up on jack stands. Oh good, more rain coming. She's up on jack stands because her transmission isn't happy with me. So am I better off trying to stick a transmission in business casual? Am I better to try to doctor up the engine on the green disease? I'm kind of stuck. I'm not sure what to do right now. I got a lot of thinking to do tonight. Well, we'll find out tomorrow what I decided. So there you have it. Business casual, bad transmission. Green disease, bad engine. Power tour, 12 days away. And I have a regular job that I have to get back to pretty soon. So what do we do? Well, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna end this video right now. Thanks for watching. Come back, watch the next one, see what happens. On the next one, you're gonna find out what we decide to fix, either the green disease or business casual. And we're going to put as much time as we can into that to get it up and running and how it needs to be. I need a transmission for business casual. I need an engine for the green disease. Both of them still need an exhaust. Business casual is usable at least. So, guys, thanks for watching. Give me a like, give me a subscribe, leave a comment, tell me how dumb I am. I don't care. And I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.